if you've wanted to learn the actual strategy to make lots of money in multifamily real estate, I'm going to show you exactly how we do that by implementing the BRRRR strategy. Hey guys, it's Clay Rockwood. On my channel, I share lots of information about how to invest in multifamily real estate, how to structure deals, how to raise money, how to wholesale, all these kind of things. If that interests you, go ahead and subscribe to my channel. We'll be putting out a lot more content like this to help you guys out. So today I want to focus on the BRRRR strategy and specifically kind of the end game. What happens there? A lot of you may have heard of the BRRRR strategy, right? It stands for buy, renovate, rent, and refinance. A lot of emphasis is put on those first few steps of how to buy deals, how to renovate them, what to do, how to put tenants in there. But I want to focus today on the last part of the refinance, because this is where a lot of investors get confused. They don't understand how it works, how a bank is going to look at this, how they get money from a bank, how the lending works, all that kind of stuff. So I'm going to try and break it down as simply as I can to help you understand how we do this day in and day out on all of our properties, right? Because the end goal here with the BRRRR strategy is to be able to refinance out and pull all or mostly all of your cash back out on these properties so that you can go out and buy more properties, right? And you can kind of rinse and repeat and scale your business, scale your wealth by buying more multifamily. All right, so let me use a real life example here. This is an actual property that I've bought, and I've done the whole BRRRR method on this property. So to make it simple, I'm gonna start with this one. It's a duplex, right? So this is a property we found on the MLS. We made an offer on it and we ended up buying this property for $200,000, okay? We bought it with hard money, with cash hard money, right? So it wasn't any of our own money on this property. We ended up buying the property. We put about $50,000 of work into the property to renovate it, okay? So we bought it for $200,000. We're in it $250,000 with our renovation cost. Again, none of our own money. This is money that we borrowed from other people. And at the end of the day, we had some costs, right? There's cost to borrow money, there's title fees, closing costs, things like that. So all in, we were about $265,000 with this one duplex property, okay? So what we did is we put new tenants in the property for full market rent, right? We obviously raised the rents because the properties were fixed up and nice. So now we're getting a fully renovated property with good tenants. Now what do we do? Now at this point, you can run some simple numbers to understand how a bank is going to look at this if you go take it to a bank to refinance, okay? So what a bank is going to look at is the value. What is the current value of the property? Well, obviously we bought it for $200,000, but it's no longer worth $200,000 because we've fixed it up and put a lot of money into it. So a bank is going to send out an appraiser to appraise the property. And that appraiser is going to look at comparable sales in the area, okay? To look at what else is similar to this property in its current condition and what have those properties sold for or what are they generating in rent, okay? So this is a calculation you can honestly do up front before you ever even buy the property, and that's what we do. As we look at, okay, if we fix this property up, what will it be worth once it's finished, okay? So in this particular scenario, we looked at some comps, ran some numbers, talked to some real estate agents. Again, you don't have to be an expert in this. You can use the expertise of other people. Talk to a real estate agent, talk to some mortgage brokers, ask people, local investors, hey, what is this property going to be worth if I put new tenants in and fix it up, okay? Now, a bank is going to lend you, based off that new appraised value, a 75% loan. So what that means is the bank's going to say, okay, if this property is worth $500,000, we'll lend you 75% of that number. And that's the number the bank is going to lend you on a loan. So in our scenario here with this property where I'm in it $265,000, I can reverse engineer this. So if I take that $265,000 and I divide that by 0.75 or 75%, that will give me a number, and that will give me a number of $353,000. So theoretically, I could say, okay, if I want to cash out all of my money that I've put into this property, if I want to get a loan for that full $265,000, then this property will have to appraise for $353,000 at least, if not more. Obviously, it can appraise for more. It can be worth $1 million, which would be great, obviously. But for a bank to lend me that full $265,000, it would need to appraise for $353,000. Okay, it's a very simple calculation. You just take what you're in it, you divide it by 0.75, and that will tell you what the appraised price needs to be. Now, in this example, I talked to a local credit union, a bank, and they sent out an appraiser, and the appraisal came back at $390,000 on this duplex. So that's great news. That means the bank said, okay, the value's there. We're willing to lend you that up to that $265,000 amount that you have in the property. So that's exactly what happened. The bank then gave me a loan for $265,000, which $250,000 of that paid off the hard money lender, the money that we had borrowed, and the other $15,000 paid off, all those other fees that we had accumulated through title, closing costs, hard money interest, all that stuff. So at the end of the day, we got a loan for $265,000 from the bank, and now we have $0 out of pocket in this property. And all we have to do is make that monthly mortgage payment to the bank, which, by the way, is being paid for by the tenants who live in the property. So to put it simply, that's the BRRRR strategy and how you refinance and cash out 100% of your money. Now, as a disclaimer here, that doesn't always work out like I've said. There's been times where, hey, we need the property to appraise for this much, but maybe the appraisal comes in lower, so you can't get that full cash out. But at the end of the day, what we found is that 9 times out of 10, we can almost always cash out 100% of our funds if we're buying the property right, if we run these numbers up front and understand the back end of how a bank is going to look at this, and we use that 75% loan to value ratio, okay? So it's very simple. You can run these numbers yourself. Now, if you want to learn more about kind of some in-depth analysis on bigger multifamily and how a bank would underwrite some of these larger properties, I'm going to do another video that'll kind of go in-depth on that and how a bank will underwrite these larger deals. Because again, I want to help you understand the ins and the outs of how to run this whole strategy from beginning to end so that you can start building wealth through your own rental portfolio and multifamily investing. Now guys, remember, if it's not now, then when? And if not you, then who? Newbie investors are always scared to seek out multifamily properties. They'll call me up, Clay, I don't have $100K lying around to invest in a multifamily unit. So that's why I need to start with single family. But I always have to remind them, no, it's actually easier to find outside investors to help, which means you don't need any money. Well, then they'll say, yeah, man, but it's so competitive. All the multifamily deals keep getting snatched up. Truth is, it is competitive, but that's why I've created a multifamily marketing system to generate off-market leads for investors. You can have access to my exact system if you click the link below.
Clay, are you still there? I'm gonna click the link below. Okay, love you, bye.